Hello fellow woodworkers and welcome to this week's edition of the Garage Workshop. This week we're going to be seeing if the contents of this package can help me in one of my long-standing storage issues. Roll the intro. I've had a long-standing issue with my battery drawer where all my batteries and all my chargers are all in together, and it is a right mess. And I did consider some sort of storage system where I put it in a cupboard or put it on the wall or in a cabinet. But anyway, I've decided against all that. And then what I thought I would do is go for a little Shadowfoam organisation in there. And hopefully that will keep the batteries nice and tight. And I'm not going to get the batteries and the chargers in it, but I should definitely get the batteries in. So I went onto Shadowfoam's website, I'd measured the drawer, and when I got the dimensions and put them in, the actual foam I would need for one single drawer was going to be over £40, which I think was a lot of money. So I went onto AliExpress and I ordered some equivalent product, foam-based product, and it is in this bag. Now, I haven't opened it yet, but I've ordered it in exactly the same thickness as the Shadowfoam I looked at. But on AliExpress, you couldn't buy foam that is in exactly the same size, so I'm probably going to have to use the whole of one of these, or one and a bit, or cut them in half and do two. Not quite sure yet. We'll see how it actually fits in the drawer. So I'm going to open it. Like I said, I've not opened it yet, and I'll be interested to see how it compares to Shadowfoam. Okay, so here is the foam. Now, as I mentioned, obviously Shadowfoam make this in the UK. It is exactly the same dimensions as the Shadowfoam I looked at on their website. I have to say, it's definitely a lot stiffer or firmer than I thought it was going to be. And I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see the different lines where the different layers of foam are there. And if you've not used Shadowfoam, essentially you cut it with a knife, you put the shape on, you cut around it with a knife or with a scalpel, and you go down as far as you want to go down in terms of, so let's say, for example, it was a tool. You might go around the outline of a tool and go halfway down, so that when the tool is sitting in it, half of it is above the surface, is sitting proud, and the other half is actually in it. And obviously, if you've then got it stacked on the wall like that, that helps to keep the tools embedded so that they don't fall out. So this Shadowfoam looks pretty good. I've had a lot of opportunities to look at the original Shadowfoam at Maker Central. I spent quite a long time looking on their stand. It has obviously been wrapped up and it's made its way here from China, and it has got a couple of sort of slight, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that in the light, but yeah, you can see it. There's like ridges in it, and it looks to me like they're from packaging, because this side isn't as ridged as the other side. So I've got the Shadowfoam. What I'm going to do now is pop out the drawer and we'll see how it fits in. So fellow woodworkers, interestingly, this video is following on from my CNAR battery PD Nation adapter battery video, which I did last week. I'll put a link to that in the description. I've just been and got my drawer with my batteries in it, and look at how many different batteries I have for the power tools that I've got. So I'm just going to quickly go through them so you can see them. This is obviously the CNAR battery that I reviewed in the recent video. I've got two DeWalt batteries for my DeWalt drill. I've got a Hachika battery, which goes with the portable vacuum that I reviewed earlier in the year. I've got a Parkside 20 volt team battery. This is the 4 amp hour one. I've got another one. This is the, I think this is the 2 amp hour battery. Yep, so I've got two of those Parkside ones for my sort of bigger Parkside tools. Oh, we've got a third one. So I've actually got two of these batteries. I think one of them actually came with a tool back in the day. I've got three of these smaller triangular Parkside batteries, obviously having a lot of Parkside tools. I've got one of these, which is the 12 volt Parkside team battery. This one is a 4 amp hour, and this has got the same connector on it, but obviously it's a bigger capacity battery than that. So in total, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 7 Parkside batteries. I've got a Ferrix battery, which runs my drill and also runs my hand, you know, the thing that pumps up tyres. It's completely gone out of my head. I'll put the word on there if I can remember what it is. And I've got my 2 Ryobi lithium ion batteries. So in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different batteries for the power tools that I have in the garage workshop, which is a huge amount. So I'm now going to see if I can get the foam to fit in the drawer, and if my calculations and measurements are correct, it should go in okay, fingers crossed. Okay, so I've marked it out, as you can see, and I've got my cutting mat, and it says it is as simple as just cutting through with a very sharp knife. Obviously it's quite deep, so I probably won't get through in one go, and I've got a craft knife here that I've not used for anything, so it should be super sharp. So fingers crossed we're able to cut it properly. Let's give it a go. Being the garage workshop, I'm sure something will go wrong, but let's give it a go, see how it cuts. Point out, I am using a metal ruler for this, and I have marked it with a white pen, a white marking pen, obviously, so I can see it. Let's see how well it cuts. Well, it seems to be cutting really well. I'm just wondering now if this blade is actually going to be big enough to cut all the way through to the cutting mat at the bottom. I'm not sure it actually is. Okay, so with the knife, I've got about 2 layers, possibly. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. I've got about 2 layers off from the bottom of the shadow foam, or the foam. I shouldn't say shadow foam because it's not shadow foam. So I'm just going to see if I've got a bigger knife, and then I'll finish the cut off. So I found a bigger knife, slightly older, but let's see if it'll let me finish the cut off with that. It's so simple to cut. They are 100% correct about, yeah, I can feel it now. Going through to cutting that. Okay, so the first cut is made. There's my piece, and there's the cut. Not bad. There's a little, it's a little bit rough. I'm not sure if you can see that, and the cut is a little bit bowed out, but not too bad, and certainly nothing to worry about. Let's get the drawer and see if it fits in. Okay, so as you can see, it is a really nice fit. I have seen on YouTube videos that people have put double-sided tape in the back of the units to keep the foam from coming out, but I don't actually think I'm going to need to do that, because A, it's going to be laid that way, so there won't be any sort of gravitational pressure, and B, it's really tight. Now, one of the cuts on this strip wasn't great. It was a little bit off. I tried to trim it up. Not very easy to trim this stuff up, I have to say. So what I did was I've sort of slightly overcut it anyway to sort of pressure fit it in there. And you can't see, I mean, I know you can see the line, but I'm actually really pleased with how that's turned out. It looks really, really good. So the next stage is to lay out all the batteries on it, get them all in the right positions, and then we'll try to cut them individually. I'm not going to do that in the tray, by the way, in the drawer, by the way. I'm going to take the foam out because I think it'll be a lot easier to maneuver. So I'll take it out and we'll lay all the batteries out and see how easy it's going to be to do this. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Now, I've got a choice to make here, which it might be more difficult than I actually thought, and it's about how the batteries are laid in, because in my mind I originally was going to put the batteries that way round because I thought it was an easier shape to cut around, but with having so many batteries, I'm not sure that's going to work. And with these batteries as well, these batteries are going to be too raised up with the Shadowfoam. I'm planning on cutting sort of halfway down most of the batteries. If I do that with this, the drawer isn't going to be able to shut. So these batteries are going to have to lay on their side like this, which, you know, it does make the shape a little bit more difficult. When I've looked at videos online about how people have done this, they haven't marked the batteries out first. They've literally just drawn around the shape of the battery with the scalpel. So I'm gonna try and do that. So I'm just gonna lay the batteries out now and see where I can get them. The other thing is, it's whether I have a system like this where I sort of double them up. I do think that looks a bit naff though, I have to be honest, and I'm a bit worried about cutting that in. But these batteries are gonna have to stay this way. And I'm gonna leave a bit of a border as well. Okay, so this is my first attempt and I've still got a battery left. Okay, so this is my first attempt and I've still got a battery left. So through the power of YouTube, I'm going to do this off camera and just show you the finished product. Okay, so I've got the batteries laid out. These bits of foam that you can see here are just to keep them upright. As you can see, it is an extremely tight fit. And certainly, having never ever used this before, I'm not so sure that I should go for as complicated a fit, but I have tried numerous times off camera to try and get them all to fit in, and this is the only way that I can do it. The other thing that's worrying me is just how much these batteries here in particular are going to stick up. So I think I'm going to go for cutting through the Shadowfoam. You should be able to see it here. Let me just cut a piece off so you can get a slightly better understanding of what I'm effectively trying to say. So what I think I'm going to do is, it's just made up of individual layers, the foam. So I'm going to go all the way through the layers just to, if I can tear it apart, which I've done very badly. You'll sort of get the idea though. I'm sort of going to go for 2 layers at the bottom, which means taking off, including the black layer at the top, it means taking off 5 layers because it's 8 layers across in total. So I think I'm gonna see if I go around the outside of the battery and mark it with a line. If I try and do it with a scalpel, it's not going to be a very easy shape to get, and if I go around it with a marker, it's going to leave me with a white line everywhere. But I don't know. I think it's just one of those things where I'm just sort of going to have to go for it, really. So I might start off with these 3 in the middle because, to be fair, they look the easiest ones. But let's go, guts or glory, let's get cutting. Okay, so I know it looks horrible, but I've marked out the first battery component there, and I've done the same there. So we've got the first two, and what I'm just going to do is cut them out now, do it bit by bit, and see how it goes. Basically, I'm going to cut around the outside of the shape. So it's voiceover Roger here, and I just thought I would give you a little bit more of an explanation about the cutting. As you can see, I used a scalpel, which is what they recommend to cut the material. It went through really quick. The only issue I actually did have was this pulling out the correct amount. Now, I think with a more expensive product, maybe like Shadowfoam, you wouldn't have that same issue. So what I resorted to doing was adjusting the little knife you can see there at the right depth that I wanted it to be, and then running around the edge, cutting it out, and then sort of tearing it off. But the gap between all the layers where they were stuck together, it was actually quite difficult to sort of separate them. So quite often when I pulled a shape out, I got sort of 3/4 of the shape perfect, but there was a little bit left in the bottom, which you'll see at the end. But I wasn't too worried about that. And the one that I'm cutting out now, I refer to this in a minute, I stupidly cut around the outside of the lines that I had drawn rather than the inside. So all sort of small errors you would expect for a first time doing it, but overall really easy experience. Okay, so hopefully you can see from that footage that I've definitely got better as I've started cutting. This first one is a bit loose. It's still all right in there. It's just a bit loose. The middle one, I stupidly, this little Parkside one, I cut around the outside of the line instead of the inside of the line. Don't ask me why. This Ryobi battery on the end though is really nice. It's almost level at the bottom. There's a little bit coming off, and I'll come to the quality of the foam when I finish, but that's sitting nicely. It's exactly halfway in, I can see from this side. So I'm now going to just do the rest. I was thinking of doing a time lapse, but it will take forever. So I'm just going to cut the rest of these in and let's see how well I do. Okay, so as you can see, some of them aren't 100% level, and this big battery down here, which is the big Parkside one, I did go all the way through to the bottom, but I don't think that's going to matter. The only tear is there, and like I said, I didn't cut that tear. I mean, they're a bit uneven, and you know, I could go round and sort of level them all up, but let's see what they look like when they're actually in the tray. Okay, so here we go. Let's put it back in. And hopefully, the fact that it's a little bit tighter may keep the batteries in position a little bit more. Right, it's in place. Let's put all the batteries in. There are just little bits here and there that I'm picking off. Right, let's put the batteries in and see how it looks. Okay, so all the batteries are in. Let's have a look from the side. Yep, they're all under the level. The only one that isn't is this Ryobi, and I deliberately left a little bit extra of this in. There's a little bit in the hole, which I can clean up. Yep, that's much better. So, there we are. The batteries are all in and they've all got their own individual marked place. So fellow woodworkers, as you can see, the batteries are all there. They're all in their right place. It's not moving. They're not going out anywhere. Look, I can tip it over. I'm super pleased with how it turned out. It was a lot of work and a lot of effort, but as I said, I certainly got a lot quicker towards the end, and I definitely cut better quality holes towards the end as well. So my first experience with a foam like Shadowfoam, but not Shadowfoam, and I have to say I'm super pleased with the result, and definitely something that I would look to do with other drawers or with some of my containers, which I can put the foam in around individual tools. I can see why the Shadowfoam channel is so popular. I don't know how Jonah manages to cut all those really complicated shapes though, but anyway, really happy with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you've had any experience with Shadowfoam or, you know, the rival much cheaper product, let me know. And let me know what you think about the organisation of this drawer. So thank you so much for watching. It's your first time at the Garage Workshop. Please can I ask you to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you find out about new content, and don't forget to like and comment. It's super important. If you're a regular subscriber, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and also don't forget to like and comment. And I'll catch you on next week's edition of the Garage Workshop. Take care, fellow woodworkers.